So welcome to our distortion lesson. I've picked our dystopian future patch that we've been using a few times here in this course because this one is a soft pad. At least soft for my terms, for the things I do. And that means that we can apply distortion to it. So let me actually show you distortion on this pad. So if we, whoa, this is, this came from the tape echo now. So if we bring in distortion, let me make this a bit quieter. You should instantly hear that it's more aggressive. So distortion basically brings in more of this to your waveform. So you can imagine it like this modulation here. It just interrupts more of the waveform and makes it more dirty, more gritty, more cracking, depending on how you adjust this. So you could either set your your distortion to a fixed amount, or you take your envelope, maybe the same one that goes into the filter, and open the drive with it in the same time. And then you will get an interesting effect. So you have the distortion getting wider over time as well, which makes the whole progress of this patch opening more special, more powerful. But you don't have to. You can actually, if you want, just work with the fixed value. This output gain button is here to work against the volume gain, because if you introduce distortion like this, your patch will become louder, and with this output gain button you can work against that and make it quieter again, so it's not overdriving actually in your DHW. And let me look something up. I guess this is routed to the cutoff. Does it close it? No, it opens it. So let's just change this to the negative value, so we can close the filters with the mod wheel. Because distortion, as always, like I say, if you apply something with high frequencies or something that is harsh, it even sounds stronger if your bass patch is darker, because of course you have more for canvas to paint with this effect. So here it's even stronger. Then if you go back up, it almost sounds like a storm. By the way, on this patch here I have noise, as you can see. This is just as a reminder to a noise episode, a practical example for it. And I have as well the modulation source here set a little bit to noise, so this noise is affecting this here more than oscillator 3. So it's a mix between both, a blend, but you get the idea. Yeah, and as you notice, like the distortion is adding some chaos to the sound. It makes it more sound like we are in the middle of a storm, something huge, epic. And The drive button is just telling you, or you tell the module how much distortion, how distorted the wave should be. And here you can apply how much of this should be applied to your whole patch. So even if you put this on 100%, in this case 36 decibel, you can turn this down to 20 to just have this hard amount of distortion only dialed in by 20% into your patch. Or you could say, I just want to have a little bit of distortion, but I want it affecting almost everything. And then we have 4 other distortion modules here, and actually I will show you all of them because they are common, at least to the synths that I know. So we have overdrive. It's almost the same like the one we had before, but it sounds different. First of all, the level button is the same like the output gain to control the volume, to work against the volume gain. So you notice overdrive is more aggressive, it's harsher in the frequency, but therefore you have this tone button to work with this. So you can change the tone. So this is like it's almost the same like the distortion. It just sounds a little bit different, and you can even fine-tune the tone. But it's really a little different thing, so it's not just about the tone button. Then we have the wave folder. This is pretty harsh, as it looks harsh and it sounds harsh. Often what you see is really what you get. This is really a strong kind of distortion, so we could turn this down and have more of a real stable patch playing with just a little bit of this wave folding being dialed in. Still a lot, so could even go down. But now it's rather just cracking noise, so I would instead just maybe make this a little bit more balanced and then dial in more. But the real difference really comes up here to the ones we had before. So if you pick wave folder, you maybe actually want to use what makes it special. And here you can just switch between triangle and sine. So triangle is just a little bit sharper, as you can see here. You get these sharp spikes instead of this smooth waves. And like I told you earlier, what you see is what you get. So this will even sound harsher. So this is just a harsher type of wave folder, and the output gain, as always, is just your volume control to work against the volume gain. Usually you really want to turn this down instead of up. And the last module we have is the Bit Crusher, one of my favorites. It's on my main synthesizer, Dune 2 and Dune 3 as well, which I usually use to do sound design next to pigments. And the really cool thing is, let me play something. So maybe here already. If I do this, you maybe notice that it crushes our quality of the sound, is what you could say. But Bit Crusher is usually something that is even more cool in motion, so if we would just bring our LFO into this, let's see if that's cool. Yeah, definitely. So Bit Crusher really messes with the quality of your sound. I will show you this on our plug page so that you can, it's already here on FXB. Did I swap the modules? Because I'm wondering why FXB is before FXA. Didn't even know this is possible. And I don't know how, of course here I switched the routing. Okay, cool. Yeah, so if you have your chain set up like this, and instead of shifting one by one all of them, you can just switch them, or you can make them parallel. But this is something we will cover later in the chain, in the effect chain lesson. So here's the Bit Crusher, and just as an extreme example, so you can hear it stronger, what it does. It's really a cool effect. But often I really use this together with our envelope, because you don't want to have it all the time. This extreme, so do something like this. But just a little example. I mean, maybe this is the envelope for our filter now, but just for the presentation's sake, like we did earlier. Of course, if your envelope is longer, you have more from the effect. Okay, but yeah, so far about the distortion plugins. See you in the next lesson.